Hello students, welcome back. Today I will explain you Social Science of Grade 7, new book, chapter number 11, Components of the Environment and Interrelationships. Earth is the only planet in the solar system that has received the gift of natural environment. If environment had not been there, we would not have existed. Human life is throbbing because of the environment. Environment is the driving force of survival, development, and progress. Students, the sum total of all conditions which prevail in our surroundings, it makes our environment and it sustains all life forms. The word environment means surrounding cover. The environment is the cover of natural components around the earth. The environment is made up of lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. Students, all the things around us comprise our environment. It consists of both living and non-living things. It has four elements: hydrosphere, atmosphere, lithosphere, and biosphere. Students, our planet Earth is the only planet in the solar system that has the gift of natural environment. And without this natural environment, we would have not existed. Life cannot exist. Human life is throbbing. Human life exists because of the environment. An environment is the driving force, main driving force of survival, development, and progress of human beings. Components of the environment. The environment is made up of four main components. These four components include lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. We have studied about these four components in Standard 6. Let us briefly understand about it. Lithosphere. Lithosphere is the solid crust or hard top layer of the earth. It is composed of rocks and minerals and is covered by thin layer of soil. Lithosphere has multiple utility, like it provides land for human settlement, agriculture, and raw material for industries. Students, lithos is a Greek word which means rocks, and rocks are the main materials of the earth's crust. They are made of minerals which are found in the interior as well as on the earth's surface. Lithosphere is the outermost solid surface of planet and it is made up of rocks and soil. All the continents, islands, seabeds and ocean beds are included in the lithosphere. Lithosphere supports all land animals, growth of plants and crops and all the human activities such as farming, mining and industries. Hydrosphere. The low-lying area of Earth's surface is surrounded by water. It is known as hydrosphere. It is comprised of various sources of water like oceans, seas, lakes, rivers, etc. It is essential for all the living organisms. Oceans are also rich in of various resources. Students, hydrosphere is that part of the Earth's surface which is covered with water. And this sphere includes all the water bodies found on the earth. 71% of the earth's surface is covered with water, and that is why the earth is known as the blue planet. Life without water is not possible on earth, and water is necessary for our existence. All plants and animals depend upon water for their survival. Hydrosphere is the domain of water, and it includes oceans, rivers, lakes, seas, and other water bodies. The ocean and sea water is saline, whereas rivers, lakes, and ponds have fresh water. Atmosphere. Atmosphere is the layer of air that surrounds the earth. Atmosphere is made up of various gases, water vapor, dust particles, alkali, etc. It protects life on the earth by absorbing sun's harmful ultraviolet rays. We can hear sounds through atmosphere. We are thankful to atmosphere for making us able to hear sound through means of communication, broadcasting like radio, television and mobile phones. Students, atmosphere is the colorless and odorless layer of gases that surrounds the earth. Atmosphere is like a protective shield which prevents the harmful rays of the sun from reaching the earth's surface. Air is a very important part of the atmosphere. The atmosphere consists of number of gases such as nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide. And oxygen is the vital for survival of life on the earth. Atmosphere is like a blanket of air. It surrounds our planet and it is held to the surface of the earth by gravitational force. It is due to atmosphere that we are able to hear the sounds and even the communication like radio, television and broadcasting and mobile phones is done with the help of atmosphere only. Biosphere. The part of lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere where life is pervasive is called biosphere. It includes flora, fauna, microorganisms and human beings. Living beings obtain food and other necessities from biosphere. Students, the biosphere includes those parts of the atmosphere, lithosphere and hydrosphere where life exists. The biosphere makes up a very small part of the Earth's mass. Each living organism has a specific environment in which it exists and which is called ecosystem. Biosphere is a narrow zone that comprises of between land, water and air that supports all living, that is biotic beings. Plants, animals, humans and microorganisms are part of the biosphere. It is present just above, below and on the surface of the earth where all other domains interact. There are two main types of environment: natural environment and man-made environment. Natural environment includes biological, that is biotic components like flora, fauna and human beings. Inorganic, that is abiotic components are like land, water, air, etc. Man-made environment is created by human intellect by interacting with biotic and abiotic components. Students, our environment has two components, two main components, that is natural and human. Natural environment includes both the physical and the biological environment containing biotic and abiotic components. Human environment consists of human society that includes culture, economy, political life, religion, etc. and man-made structures like canals, dams, roads, buildings, etc. Natural environment includes all living, that is biotic, and non-living things, that is abiotic, that exist naturally on the earth's surface. Natural environment also includes the interaction and interdependence of all the living species among themselves and with their non-living surroundings. Man-made environment. Man interacts with surrounding environment. He makes changes in it according to his need. In ancient times, man lived a nomadic life and adapted the environment according to his own needs. His life was simple and his needs were limited. So all his needs were met from the surrounding environment. As the time passed, changes occurred and needs also increased. Man learnt how to use and change the environment. As a result, production increased in agriculture, animal husbandry due to invention of wheel and industrial revolution. This man-made environment is also known as cultural environment. Students, the relationship between natural environment including its physical components and the people in a given area gives rise to human environment. Humans interact with natural environment and modify it to suit their needs. For example, they use a part of land surface for growing crops. Similarly, human beings learn to domesticate some animals like cow, buffalo and goats for their own benefit, such as food and transport. Humans make use of all the three domains of the earth, that is land, air and water. Humans build structures with different natural materials and thus humans interact with natural environment and make use of them. This interaction is based on ecological balance. If any way imbalance occurs, nature restructures everything to settle it again. Distribution of water. The area of water on earth is more than land area. It occupies about 71% of the earth's surface. An ocean is a water body that has huge reserves of water. There are 4 oceans on the earth. First Pacific, second Atlantic, third Indian and fourth Arctic. All these oceans are connected to one another. These oceans are very wide and deep. In the Pacific Ocean, there is a trench which is 10 to 11 kilometers deep. Mostly of the water on the earth is saline. It is mainly found in oceans and seas. The main sources of fresh water are glaciers, groundwater, lakes of fresh water, rivers, etc. Students, the total quantity of water has not changed ever since the time it was found on the earth. Water present on the earth can be broadly divided into fresh water and saline water. This distinction is on account of the saltiness of the sea, but it does not change its properties. The water that does not contain dissolved salts in large quantities is termed as fresh water. It flows in rivers and streams and is stored in lake, pond, or glaciers. Fresh water is also found underground as groundwater. Naturally, it emerges on the surface in wells and springs and is also present in the atmosphere as water vapor. And the water with high percentage of dissolved salt in it is called saline water. It is present in oceans, seas, and salt water lakes. The quantity of saline water is more than the availability of fresh water on the earth. Through water cycle or hydrological cycle, water gets distributed on the earth's surface. There are variations in salinity of water from region to region and place to place. Sea waves. Sea waves arise from various forces. Normal waves are created by the wind blowing over the sea surface. High waves are formed by whirlwind or storm. When these waves reach the coast, they cause heavy damage. Students, rhythmic rise and fall of horizontal or surface water of the ocean is known as wave. Okay, it is caused by the movement of air, winds, earthquakes, and tides. Wind act as like it is against wave tops, resulting in the rising and falling of water moving in the direction of wind. The distance between two crests or two troughs is called wavelength. Waves related to cyclones and earthquakes are very dangerous and they can cause heavy destruction in the coastal areas. Tides, ebbs. Twice a day, sea level rises and falls periodically. This phenomena of rising and falling of sea is called tide and ebb. At the time of high tide, sea water bulges towards the shore, while at the time of ebb, the sea water returns to the sea from the shore. The time interval between two tides is about 12 hours and 25 minutes. Tide occurs on the earth due to gravitational force of the sun and the moon. The mass of the sun is more than the moon, but it is far away from the earth, so the gravitational force of moon is more on the earth. Different parts of the earth face the sun and the moon at different times, so tides also come at different time. On the day of new moon and full moon, the sun, the earth and the moon come almost in a straight line. This condition results in high tide. But when the moon is in its first and last quarter, the gravitation pull reduces, resulting in low tides. Students, tides are the periodical rise and fall of ocean water due to gravitational pull of the moon and sun. This causes water in the oceans to rise up along the coast, but it cannot withstand for a long time and eventually subside. This happens twice a day. When water rises up, it is called up tide, and when it subsides, it is called down tide. On a new moon or full moon day, when the earth, the moon, and sun come in a line, maximum pull is exerted and the tides become higher than usual. These are called spring tides. On half moon days, the sun and the moon are at right angles to each other, so the tides will have lesser heights, so they are called neap tides. Tides are very useful in navigation. On high tides, sea gets deeper in the harbor, so ships can sail smoothly in and out of the harbor. Tidal energy has so much potential that it has been used to generate electricity. Tides also clear away the silts of the harbors by taking away mud and debris brought down by rivers. Ocean currents. Like the rivers on the earth, the oceans also have huge amount of water flowing in certain direction for thousands of years. These currents are called ocean currents. These currents are hot and cold. The main causes of currents are solar energy, wind, salinity of seawater, and rotation of the earth. Mostly hot currents move from the equator to the poles and cold currents move from the poles to the equator. Students, a stream of water moving along a steady path from warm region to cold region and vice versa is called ocean currents. The factors responsible for this motion are differences in temperature, density, and salinity from the surrounding water or from the equator to the poles. The streams of water move with a speed of 2 km to 10 km per hour. The direction of currents are influenced by the wind, shape of land masses, and rotation of the earth. Ocean currents move in a clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere and in anti-clockwise direction in the southern hemisphere. There are two types of currents, namely warm currents and cold currents. Warm currents flow from low latitudes to high latitudes and cold currents flow from high to low latitudes. Warmer currents have a temperature slightly higher than the surrounding water. Similarly, cold currents have a temperature slightly lower than the surrounding water. Interrelationship among the components of the environment. Man is at the center of all components of environment. The different components of the environment are connected with one another by some physical cycles. These cycles are influenced by human activities. Man does excavation in the lithosphere to obtain minerals. The huge pits are formed due to excavation. These pits get filled with water, resulting in formation of hydrosphere. As a result, temperature in the atmosphere increases. The water in the hydrosphere evaporates and mixes with the atmosphere. As the moisture in the atmosphere condenses, clouds form and rain falls. The flow of that water causes erosion of soil. As a result, various landforms are formed. Moreover, various human activities are interconnected with the ecosystem due to components of natural environment. The various components of the natural environment are related to one another. For example, the air. Human beings and animals breathe and is essentially from trees and other forms of vegetation. The trees in turn take in the air human beings breathe out, that is carbon dioxide. The land provides support and nutrients for the trees and other plants. The plants also in turn provide the land with their dead leaves or other parts which contribute formation of the soil. So students, a healthy environment is very important for the existence of all living beings. Human beings use the environment for different activities and while doing so they pollute it. Industrialization, urbanization and ever increasing population are the factors for pollution. Pollution. Human beings use their intellect to use various components of the environment to satisfy their needs. Mahatma Gandhi said that pollution is the act of polluting the natural environment through human activities. Components polluting the environment are called pollutants. The environment is polluted when resources are used unrestrictedly and indiscriminately. The sharp zest of the human development, industrialization and mechanization are responsible for pollution of environment. At present, land pollution, water pollution, air pollution and noise pollution are increasing very fast. Pollution causes an adverse effect on the environment, human life and living things. We need to take immediate steps to preserve the environment and prevent its harmful effects. Students, development is the right of human beings. It means whenever and wherever, in whatever field, if there is an opportunity of development, humans have the right to progress. The Industrial Revolution and the scientific discoveries have opened up vast opportunities for technological advancements and developments. These developments have led to massive changes in human life. Technological advancements have empowered the creativity, which in turn simplified the process of production. Electricity, railways, telephone, vehicles, industries, electronic media are the important characters in the story of development. An unlimited use of natural resources like water, air, and natural vegetation has become the cause of widespread pollution. It is necessary to make an effort to see and understand both pollution and development in different contexts, since these two phenomena run parallel in the modern times. In the present times, land, water, air, noise, and space pollution has increased, and its adverse effects could be seen on human life and our environment. With the industries coming up on a large scale, various kinds of pollutants affecting the environment have increased. Among this, water and air pollution and land pollution are the main types. These three are the most important elements for the sustenance of life on the earth. Students, the process of making the air, water, land, and soil impure by addition of harmful substances is called pollution. Pollutant is a substance that pollutes the environment. The polluter is a person or a factor that pollutes the environment. And at present, we are facing land pollution, water pollution, air pollution, and noise pollution, which is increasing at a very fast rate. And if we will not take immediate steps to preserve our environment, then it is not going to help us in the future, and we will have to face the harmful effects of the pollution. Land pollution. A change in soil quality or its nutrients is called land pollution. Land pollution is not easily felt. Land pollution is on rise around the world. Disposal of household solid waste or water, setting up of industries on fertile or agricultural land, discharge of contaminated water used in industries on open land, disposal of industrial solid waste on land, excavation activities, construction activities, use of chemical fertilizer for agriculture, over irrigation and over usage of insecticides along with it, as well as use of plastic, are responsible for land pollution. Students, land pollution is not something that is easily visible, but in this developing world, land pollution has become evident on a large scale. Growing industries and the polluted water from the drains flow on the ground and slowly pollute the land. The people who run industries and factories always try to acquire more land than what they require. According to them, they acquire more land for the future development. When the industries occupy the agricultural land, it surely pollutes it as the industries dump solid waste on land. Nowadays, polythene, that is plastic, is used on a large scale. Plastic is a non-degradable substance and pollutes the land. The urban waste like plastic, scrap and chemicals are dumped on land, and it gets dispersed over farmlands by winds and thus pollutes the lands. Farmers use chemical fertilizers extensively to increase production, and it also plays a major role in polluting the land and water. Polluted water from industries and drainage is used in the irrigation of fertile land, resulting in the polluted production of grains, vegetables, etc., and cultivated on such land, it results into tuberculosis and bone diseases. Exhausted or shrinking fertile land leads to the risk of scarcity of crops. Plastic solid waste material from the industries and polluted water destroy microorganisms which make the land fertile, and eventually land becomes barren due to the destruction of microorganisms. Know this. Pollution has occurred in Punjab due to excessive use of nitrogenous chemical fertilizers. Due to excessive use of chemical fertilizer in Hoshiarpur, Bhatinda districts of Punjab and Rohtak district of Haryana, the water of the wells has been contaminated to a dangerous level. As a result, the people living there have become victim to various diseases. There is a high prevalence of cancer, intestinal and urinary diseases. Measures to prevent soil pollution. Instead of pesticides and chemical fertilizers, organic and indigenous fertilizer, green manure should be used. Pesticides should be used sparingly. Solid waste should be sorted and reused. Plastic or solid waste should be recycled and reused. Drip and sprinkler irrigation system should be used in agriculture. Students, land pollution can be controlled if we reduce the use of plastic and necessary chemicals judicially. No industries should be set up on arable land, that is agricultural land. We should conserve environment. Use of organic and traditional manure instead of chemical fertilizers is advisable. Pesticides should be used in minimum possible proportion, and plastic and solid waste should be recycled, and use of non-conventional sources of energy and green technology could be introduced. Drip irrigation saves water and prevents land degradation. Water pollution. When water becomes unsuitable for its intended use and external impurities are mixed with it, it is called water pollution. Sewage water, water polluted by industries, leakage of mineral oil carriers, chemical fertilizers and pesticides used in the agriculture are responsible for water pollution. Students, industries require water, and during the process of manufacturing, water becomes impure or polluted, which is drained into rivers, streams, or on the ground. This chemical infested water pollutes the pure water of a river. Secondly, the water drained on open ground gradually percolates down and pollutes the underground water too. Growing urbanization is another reason behind widespread pollution. Dirty water from the gutters in urban areas is released into rivers and ponds, which add to the problem of water pollution. Today, even the rainwater gets polluted due to industrialization. The smoke and gases released by the industries mix with the rainwater and pollute it. The dirty water released by industries and factories into rivers, streams, and ponds destroys aquatic life. Many times we see news about mass death of fish because of excessive pollution in water. The seawater gets polluted due to oil drilling and oil spills. Water pollution causes various diseases like cholera, jaundice, vomiting, loose motion, etc. That is why nowadays people have to carry their own water bottle filled with fresh and filtered water with them while traveling to office or to school. Many rivers have turned into gutters. This polluted water, river water, is used for agriculture, and consequently pollutants enter into food grains, vegetables and fodder. Measures to prevent water pollution. Water polluted by household activities and industries should be disposed of after purification process only. Strict control should be maintained on disposal of water, wastewater without processing. Consumption of substances that pollute the water should be controlled. Students, people from every class of the society, be it a politician, farmer, industrialist, educated individuals, artists or workers, have a very casual attitudes towards the environmental pollution. Solution to stop the water pollution is that the water from the industries should be purified before it is drained into streams or rivers. Government should implement the pollution control policies properly to control the industries. We should use water in a judicious way. Students, there are certain water saving measures that can be easily adopted by us if we follow them. For example, closing of tap when not in use, using a bucket while bathing instead of shower, practicing rainwater harvesting to prevent loss of rainwater as surface runoffs. Water used for washing vegetables, pulses and rice can be used for watering plants. Do not throw waste in rivers and canals because they pollute the fresh water resources. Adopt drip irrigation techniques instead of open canal irrigation. Students, drip irrigation is a modern means of watering the crop in the fields, where water will drip from the pipeline drop by drop only to the roots of the plants. Air pollution. Emission of gas or fumes from industries, factories, thermal power plants, etc. into the atmosphere cause air pollution. Airborne particles such as coal particles used as fuel, carbonaceous compounds obtained from factory fumes result in air pollution. Moreover, the fumes of petrol and diesel emit air pollutants such as nitrous oxide, carbon monoxide, benzopyrene, and carbon dioxide. Pollutants increase in the air due to mining and construction activities. Incineration, that is burning of solid agricultural waste, also increase air pollution. Students, just like water, air pollution has become a major concern of the world. Industries have developed in every city and in most of the villages. Smoke and gases emitted by the industries mix with air and cause air pollution. Today, the use of mineral oils has increased tremendously. The vehicles running on fossil fuels like petrol and diesel emit smoke and harmful gases like hydrocarbons, nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide, and carbon dioxide, which merge with the air, and their proportion in air has increased. The proportion of carbon dioxide has increased due to cutting of trees, which has led to the intense problem of global warming. Deforestation is another reason behind the increase in air pollution. Dust particles float in the air due to the depletion of the forest cover and trees. Air pollution causes various diseases such as asthma, breathing problems, lung infection, etc. Dust particles floating in the air lead to disease like cold, cough, and allergy. There have been instances when animals die due to suffocation caused by excess of pollution. The temperature of atmosphere has increased due to pollution. At times, these poisonous gases mix with raindrops and cause acid rain, which is very harmful for animals and vegetation. Measures to control air pollution. To prevent air pollution, the government should form laws and strictly enforce them. Equipment for filtering smoke and toxic gas should be developed. Coal, petrol, diesel, etc. should be used as per requirement only. The use of pollution-free CNG, PNG, solar energy should be encouraged. Awareness should be spread to travel in public transport. PUC should be strictly enforced for vehicles. Students, to prevent air pollution, it is necessary to make certain rules for the industries and implement them strictly. Equipments that can filter smoke and harmful gases should be developed and installed. Industries that do not follow the norms should be punished strictly by a heavy fine or should be shut down. Environment awareness campaigns should be organized. One should use petrol and diesel in a judicious manner. Use of pollution-free fuel like CNG and LPG will help to a great extent. Strict implementation of PUC in vehicles should be implemented. Noise pollution. Unnecessary, excessive, unbearable sound means noise. We know this noise as noise pollution. Sound is pertinent to everyone. The person who loves light music, rock music is noise for him, while it is melodious for a rock music fan. Excessive noise pollution is caused by machines of factories, loud noise of vehicles and honking of horns, cinemas, TV, etc. The roar of jets and warplanes, the sound of various sirens increase pollution. Loudspeakers used for social occasions, band, drums, DJs, festival and inauguration fireworks, public events, election rallies, advertisements also cause noise pollution. Noise pollution causes deafness in a person, adverse effect on mental health, irritability in nature, reduces the ability to work. Excessive noise kills many insects and microorganisms. Students, nowadays noise pollution has increased more. The noise created by the machines in industries, vehicles is very loud. During the festivals and celebrations, loudspeakers, DJ bands are used. This creates noise pollution. Noise pollution is also created by playing musical instruments loudly or by bursting noisy firecrackers at the time of celebration of any festival, victory in game or elections. The city has maximum number of buses, auto rickshaws and two-wheelers. Haphazard parking leads to congestion of vehicles and the subsequent blowing of horns creates noise pollution. Noise pollution leads to deafness and affects mental and emotional health. People become more irritable. Nature is affected badly due to excessive noise. Certain insects and organisms that are very helpful to us die due to loud noise. It has become necessary to keep signboards reading no honking or silence please near the schools, dispensaries, hospitals, etc. This shows the seriousness of noise pollution. Measures to prevent noise pollution. Soundproof systems and curtains should be installed in cinemas and public halls. Unnecessary noise should be avoided in social occasions, festivals, inaugural functions, etc. More trees should be planted around industries and airports. In the places like schools, hospitals, etc., no horn silence zones rules should be strictly followed. Use of fireworks in celebration should be avoided. The volume of radio, television, mobile phones, etc. should be kept low. Machines and vehicles should be serviced, that is, repaired regularly. The above mentioned various activities of human beings pollute the land, water, air, and sound. In addition to this, other activities like satellites launch into the space, waste abundant by astronauts in the space, artificial rain with the use of different chemicals as well as radioactive pollution due to nuclear power also affect the environment. Some natural disasters such as volcanic eruption, earthquakes, floods also pollute the environment. To maintain the environment and to save the environment, man himself has to make firm resolutions. Students, it is very necessary for us, for all the citizens to understand about these pollutions. We should not play musical instruments very loudly during celebrations or special occasions. We should not burst firecrackers producing loud noise. Vehicles should be sent for servicing at proper intervals. The rules regarding PUC must be made strict. Population increase must be controlled. To reduce the noise pollution, trees should be planted on both the sides of roads and around industries. The roads should be broad enough. If the traffic congestion is intensive, then the road could be declared as one way. Awareness and appropriate action in the need of the hour to save ourselves from pollution. Students, at the end of this chapter, I just want to tell you that one of the most critical needs at present is to protect our environment and ecosystem. They are the basic units of the life system. And there are few steps towards the protection and preservation of life forms like waste disposal. Waste from household and industries should be disposed properly. Proper management should be there for disposal of waste. Then we must correct our actions to maintain the delicate balance between nature and men, like we should check pollution by using eco-friendly materials. Then proper emphasis should be given to trees and animals as both are vital sources of life. Afforestation and reforestation should be put into practice. Poaching of animals, that is killing of animals, should be checked and prohibited to maintain the proper ecological balance on the earth. Excessive dependence on fossil fuels and mineral resources of the earth has not only caused harm beyond the critical limit but is also holding threat of their exhaustion in the next 2 to 3 decades. So we must think of our future generation and should maintain a balance between the human and natural components of the environment. This was our chapter 11, Components of the Environment and Interrelationships. Students, If you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe the channel Asma Babwani. Click on the bell icon to get the latest updates. Like the videos, share the videos, and do comment on all the videos.